Ohio's abortion battle produced a decisive outcome at the ballot box a week ago. Pops up an effort to undermine it.
Now, Republican State Representative Jennifer Gross of Westchester wants the legislature, not the courts, to interpret what the new constitutional amendment means. Back and forth we go. WLWT News 5's John London is here with her thinking about that and reaction to it, John.
Yeah, and Jennifer Gross was not available to comment today, but she did have Janet Porter of Faith to Action call us on her behalf. Porter telling us the majority, she believes, did not realize what they were voting for last Tuesday, and that the legislature has the authority to rein in the scope of the court's jurisdiction, a view that's getting plenty of pushback today.
In the week since pro-choice supporters celebrated the passage of Issue 1, Westchester Republican Jennifer Gross and 3 of her State House colleagues want to drain power from that outcome. Today, this voter made his reaction clear.
I voted. I knew exactly what I was voting for and how I voted, and that's not going to change.
But in a news release, Gross and the others proposed the legislature, not the courts, should determine what happens next. Almost 57% of Ohio voters added reproductive rights to the state constitution. Pro-choice advocates insist what Gross wants flies in the face of the popular vote.
I would agree with that. It does go against the will of the people. What they vote in is what they vote in. It should leave it alone.
Abortion rights advocates intend to ask the courts to repeal any remaining restrictions, such as a heartbeat bill Governor Mike DeWine signed into law 4 years ago.
They know that. They know a court would find that, and so they are doing everything they can to keep a court from being able to hear such a case.
David Pepper, former chair of Ohio's Democratic Party, was encouraged by today's comment of local GOP chairman Russell Mock, who tells us, while I appreciate the passion behind the issue, it's probably a constitutional overreach because of the separation of powers. But Pepper worries that it could gather momentum in the House if not stopped in its tracks.
It's incumbent upon voters who care about this, who want to see their will upheld by the people, take an oath to the Constitution, to make as much noise as possible.
David Pepper recommending calling state lawmakers. House Majority Leader Bill Seitz tells me the proposal will not get serious consideration from the House caucus. Janet Porter of Faith to Action advises watch their space. She anticipates a full House vote on this before the holiday break. John London, WLWT News 5.